In this video, we'll cover the 12 basic tenses, their structures, uses, and some common errors to avoid. Let's start by breaking down the tenses into past, present, and future. Mach 1, the past tense. 1.1 Simple past formation, subject plus verb, past form. Plus object. This is the most commonly used form of the past tense, describing actions that are completely finished. Expanded examples. Positive. I visited my grandmother last weekend. Negative. I did not visit my grandmother last weekend. Question. Did you visit your grandmother last weekend? Common mistakes. Incorrect. I was visited my grandmother last weekend. Incorrect use of passive voice. Correct. I visited my grandmother last weekend. Variations. In storytelling, writers often use the simple past to describe actions one after another, as if creating a sequence. For example, he opened the door, looked around, and then sat down. Usage in informal and formal speech. Informal. I went to the store. Formal. I attended the meeting yesterday. 1.2 Past continuous formation. Subject plus was or were plus verb dashing plus object. This tense focuses on actions that were ongoing at a particular moment in the past. Expanded examples. Positive. I was reading a book at 8 p.m. yesterday. Negative. I was not reading a book at 8 p.m. yesterday. Question. Were you reading a book at 8 p.m. yesterday? Common mistakes. Incorrect. I was read a book. Verb must be in the ing form. Correct. I was reading a book. When to use. To emphasize that an action was in progress at a specific time. At 5 p.m., I was watching TV. To show interruptions. I was cooking when you called. Advanced example. While I was cooking, my friends were setting the table and the kids were playing outside. Multiple actions happening at the same time. 1.3 Past perfect formation. Subject plus had plus past participle plus object. Used to describe an action that was completed before another action in the past. Expanded examples. Positive. By the time she arrived, I had already eaten. Negative. I had not eaten before she arrived. Question. Had you eaten before she arrived? Key concept. The past perfect always looks back further into the past than the simple past. It's used to show the first action in a sequence of events. Common mistakes. Incorrect. I had went to the store before I cooked. Correct. I had gone to the store before I cooked. When to use. To describe cause and effect. She was tired because she had not slept well. To emphasize that something happened earlier than another past action. I had finished my work before they arrived. 1.4 Past perfect continuous. Formation. Subject plus, had plus, been plus verb. Ing plus object. This tense emphasizes the duration of an action up to a certain point in the past. Expanded examples. Positive. I had been working for 3 hours before the meeting started. Negative. I had not been working for long when the meeting started. Question. Had you been working long before the meeting started? Key concept. Focuses on the duration of an action up until a specific point in the past. Common mistakes. Incorrect. I had working all day before the party. Correct. I had been working all day before the party. When to use. To describe a process. She had been studying for months before the exam. To show that something continued up to a particular moment. They had been walking for hours before they found the hotel. Two. The present tense. 2.1 Simple present. Formation. Subject plus verb. Base form. Plus object. Used to express habits, general truths, and permanent situations. Expanded examples. Positive. I eat breakfast every day. Negative. I do not eat breakfast every day. Question. Do you eat breakfast every day? Key concept. Simple present is often used for routines and facts like the sun rises in the east. Common mistakes. Incorrect. She goes to school every day. Misspelling every day. Correct. She goes to school every day. When to use. For routines. I go to the gym every morning. For general truths. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. 2.2 Present continuous. Formation. Subject plus am is are plus verb. Me ing. Mar pun object. Used for actions happening right now or temporary actions. Expanded examples. Positive. I am studying English. Negative. I am not studying English. Question. Are you studying English? Common mistakes. Incorrect. I am studying English. Correct. I am studying English. When to use. For ongoing actions. I am reading a book. For temporary actions. She is staying with her cousin. 2.3 Present perfect. Formation. Subject plus. Have. CAC has plus. Past. Participle plus. Object. Used for actions that happened at some point in the past, but are relevant now. Expanded examples. Positive. I have visited London. Negative. I have not visited London. Question. Have you visited London? Key concept. Focuses on the connection between past actions and present results. Common mistakes. Incorrect. I have saw that movie. Correct. I have seen that movie. When to use. For life experiences. I have never been to Japan. For unfinished actions. She has lived here for 5 years. 2.4 Present perfect continuous. Formation. Subject plus. Have. Has plus. Been plus verb. Mang ng. Plut object. emphasizes the duration of an action that started in the past and continues in the present. Expanded examples. Positive. I have been working here for 5 years. Negative. I have not been working here for 5 years. Question. Have you been working here for 5 years? When to use. To emphasize the ongoing nature of actions. She has been studying since morning. 3. The future tense. 3.1 Simple future. Formation. Subject plus will, shall plus verb, base form plus object. Used to describe actions that will happen in the future. Expanded examples. Positive. I will visit Paris next year. Negative. I will not visit Paris next year. Question. Will you visit Paris next year? Key concept. Describes actions that are planned or predicted for the future. When to use. For decisions made at the moment. I will have a coffee. For predictions. It will rain tomorrow. 3.2 Future continuous. Formation. Subject plus, will plus, be plus, verb, ing, plus object. Used to describe actions that will be happening at a specific time in the future. Expanded examples. Positive. I will be working at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Negative. I will not be working at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Question. Will you be working at 5 p.m. tomorrow? When to use. To show that an action will be in progress at a specific time. At 8 p.m., I will be watching a movie. 3.3 Future perfect. Formation. Subject plus, will plus, have plus, past participle. Pluck object. Used for actions that will be completed before a specific time in the future. Expanded examples. Positive. I will have finished my homework by 6 p.m. Negative. I will not have finished my homework by 6 p.m. Question. Will you have finished your homework by 6 p.m.? When to use. For showing completion before a future event. By the time you arrive, I will have finished the report. 3.4 Future perfect continuous. Formation. Subject plus, will, be plus, have plus, been plus, verb, object. Used. To show that something will continue up until a particular moment in the future. Expanded examples. Positive. I will have been working here for 10 years by next month. Negative. I will not have been working here for 10 years by next month. Question. Will you have been working here for 10 years by next month? When to use. To show the duration of an activity. By the end of this year, they will have been studying for 3 years. Chapter 1. The Fundamentals of Sentence Structure. What is a sentence? At its core, a sentence is a complete thought expressed through a group of words. For a sentence to be grammatically correct, it needs at least 2 essential components, a subject and a predicate. Subject. This is what or whom the sentence is about. Predicate. This part tells something about the subject, often the action or state of being. Example: birds fly. In this sentence, subject, birds. Predicate, fly. Both the subject and predicate must work together to convey a complete thought. Without them, the sentence would be incomplete, or what we call a fragment. For instance, flies quickly is not a complete thought unless we know who or what is doing the flying. Understanding complete thoughts. A complete thought can stand alone as a sentence. Here's a simple way to think of it. If you remove the sentence from its context, it should still make sense by itself. Chapter 2. Types of sentences in detail. As mentioned earlier, English has 4 primary sentence types, each serving a different purpose. Let's take a closer look at each type and when to use them. 1. Declarative sentences. Declarative sentences are statements that provide information. They are the most common sentence type in both spoken and written English. Example: the cat is sleeping on the couch. I love reading books. Declarative sentences end with a period and are straightforward. They can convey facts, opinions, or descriptions. Practice making your own declarative sentences to describe things around you. Second, interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences are questions. They are used to request information or ask for clarification. Example: what time is it? Do you enjoy reading? Interrogative sentences typically begin with a question word like what, why, when, where, how, or an auxiliary verb like is, can, or do. They end with a question mark. Exercise. Try forming both yes/no questions, e.g., are you coming? And whack. Questions, e.g., where are you going? Third, imperative sentences. Imperative sentences give commands, make requests, or offer advice. The subject of an imperative sentence is often implied, usually the pronoun you. Example: close the door. Please bring me the book. Imperative sentences can be polite requests or direct commands. They usually end with a period, but if they express urgency, they may end with an exclamation point. 4. Exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences express strong emotion, such as surprise, excitement, or anger. Example: what a beautiful day. I can't believe we won. Exclamatory sentences always end with an exclamation point. Be careful not to overuse them in formal writing, but they can be effective in casual or expressive communication. Chapter 3. Exploring sentence structures. Let's take a deeper dive into sentence structures, which can add complexity and nuance to your English. 1. Simple sentences. A simple sentence consists of a single independent clause with a subject and a verb. It expresses one idea. Example: the sun rises. She loves chocolate. Although simple, this sentence structure can be powerful when used effectively. Writers often use simple sentences to create impact or emphasize a point. 2. Compound sentences. A compound sentence consists of two or more independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction, such as and, but, or so yet. Example: I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining. She likes ice cream and he prefers cake. The clauses are usually related in meaning, and compound sentences help connect ideas, showing relationships like cause, contrast, or addition. Tip: to avoid comma splices, make sure to join independent clauses with a proper conjunction or punctuation, such as a semicolon. 3. Complex sentences. A complex sentence contains one independent clause and one or more dependent, subordinate clauses. Dependent clauses cannot stand alone as a sentence. They need an independent clause to complete the thought. Example: because she was late, she missed the bus. Although it was raining, we decided to go for a hike. Dependent clauses often begin with subordinating conjunctions like because, since, although, if, or when. They help add layers of meaning, showing relationships such as cause and effect, time, or contrast. 4. Compound complex sentences. A compound complex sentence is the most advanced sentence structure, combining two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Example: I went to the store because we needed milk, and I also bought some bread. Although I was tired, I stayed up late, and I finished my homework. This structure allows you to convey detailed information and more intricate ideas. However, be careful not to make your sentences too long and confusing. Chapter 4. Subject, verb, and object, the core of sentences. Understanding the relationship between the subject, verb, and object is crucial for constructing correct sentences. Subject: who or what the sentence is about. Verb: the action the subject is performing or the state of being. Object: the thing that is affected by the action. Example: the girl. Subject: kicks. Verb: the ball. Object. Now let's expand this example. The girl quickly kicks the ball into the goal. Here we've added an adverb, quickly, and a prepositional phrase, into the goal, to give more detail to the sentence. Tip: in English, the usual word order is subject plus verb plus object, SVO. Be mindful of this order, as changing it can lead to confusion. Chapter 5. Word order and sentence patterns. 1SVO. Subject, verb, object. This is the most common sentence pattern in English. It follows the logical sequence of subject, action, and recipient of the action. Example: the teacher explains the lesson. Second SVC. Subject, verb, complement. In this structure, the verb is usually a linking verb, like is, are, become, or seem, and it connects the subject to a complement, which could be a noun, adjective, or prepositional phrase. Example: she is a doctor. The cake smells delicious. Third SV, subject verb. In some cases, sentences do not need an object. This structure simply has a subject and a verb. Example: the baby cries. They dance. Knowing these basic patterns helps you build a variety of sentences, keeping your communication clear and precise. Chapter 6: Clauses versus Phrases. Understanding the difference. Clauses. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. There are two types: independent clause, can stand alone as a sentence. She sings beautifully. Dependent clause, cannot stand alone and needs an independent clause to make sense. Although she sings beautifully. Phrases. A phrase is a group of words without both a subject and a verb, functioning as a single part of speech. Types of phrases. Noun. Phrase: the big black dog. Verb. Phrase: is running fast. Prepositional phrase: on the table. Phrases add meaning to sentences, but cannot stand alone as complete thoughts. Chapter 7: Modifiers. Adjectives and adverbs in sentence structure. Modifiers provide extra information about a noun or verb, making your sentences more descriptive. Adjectives. Modify nouns. Example: the tall man is a teacher. Tall describes the man. Adverbs. Modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Example: she runs quickly. Quickly describes the verb runs. Using modifiers thoughtfully allows you to create more vivid and detailed sentences. Chapter 8: Sentence errors and how to avoid them. 1. Sentence fragments. A fragment is an incomplete sentence. It's often a dependent clause left alone without an independent clause. Example: incorrect. Because I was tired. Fix: I went to bed because I was tired. 2. Run-on sentences. These occur when two independent clauses are joined without proper punctuation or conjunctions. Example: incorrect. I love music, it helps me relax. Fix: I love music because it helps me relax. 3. Comma splices. A comma splice happens when two independent clauses are joined only by a comma. Example: incorrect. She is a great singer. She performs often. Fix: she is a great singer, and she performs often. Chapter 9: Advanced Sentence Structures and Style. Once you have a strong foundation, you can start playing with sentence structures to create different effects in your writing. Parallel structure. Using the same grammatical pattern for similar elements creates rhythm and balance. Example: she likes swimming, biking, and running. Inversion. Inversion involves reversing the usual word order for emphasis. Example: rarely have I seen such a beautiful sunset. These advanced structures add flair to your writing and can be especially effective in formal or creative contexts. Conclusion. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into sentence structure. Whether you're crafting simple sentences or tackling complex ones, understanding these rules will transform how you write and speak in English. Remember, mastering sentence structure is like learning the foundations of a building. Once you have a solid base, you can create anything from short, impactful sentences to intricate, detailed ones that express exactly what you want to say. Don't be afraid to experiment with different sentence types in your conversations or writing. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Be mindful of how subjects, verbs, objects, clauses, and modifiers work together to form sentences that are clear, concise, and effective. 1. What is a noun? Start with the basic definition and purpose of nouns in English. Definition: a noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea. People: teacher, student, doctor. Places: school, park, city, things, computer, book, table. Ideas: freedom, love, intelligence. Examples: the doctor treated the patient. Doctor and patient are people. The park is near the river. Park and river are places. She used the computer to write an essay. Computer and essay are things. Honesty is the best policy. Honesty is an idea. 2. Types of nouns. DIA. Common nouns and proper nouns. Common nouns. Names for general items. Example: dog, city, car. Proper nouns. Names for specific people, places, or things. Always capitalized. Example: London, John, Eiffel Tower. Examples: common noun: the car is parked outside. Proper noun: the Tesla is parked outside. Common noun: he is a teacher. Proper noun: Mr. Johnson is a teacher. Common noun: this city is big. Proper noun: Paris is a big city. B. Concrete nouns and abstract nouns. Concrete nouns: things that can be experienced through the senses, seen, touched, smelled, heard, or tasted. Example: apple, music, dog. Abstract nouns: ideas, qualities, or concepts that cannot be experienced with the senses. Example: freedom, happiness, honesty. Examples: concrete noun: the cake smells delicious. Cake can be smelled and tasted. Abstract noun: she has great courage. Courage cannot be touched or seen. Concrete noun: the dog barked loudly. Dog can be seen and heard. Abstract noun: love is important in life. Love is an idea. C. Countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns: nouns that can be counted, and they have singular and plural forms. Example: Apple, apples. Book, books. Uncountable nouns. Nouns that cannot be counted, and they usually don't have a plural form. Example: water, information, rice. Examples: countable, I have 2 apples. Uncountable, I need some water. Countable, there are many books on the shelf. Uncountable, she gave me some advice. Countable, they saw 3 cats outside. Uncountable, there is a lot of traffic today. 3. Compound nouns. Explain how compound nouns are formed by joining 2 or more words to create a single noun with a specific meaning. Examples: single word, sunflower toothpaste. Hyphenated, mother-in-law self-esteem. Separated, ice cream police officer. Examples: the sunflower grew tall in the garden. Single word. He forgot to buy toothpaste. Single word. Her mother-in-law visited last week. Hyphenated. She has high self-esteem. Hyphenated. I love eating ice cream. Separated. The police officer gave me directions. Separated. 4. Collective nouns. A collective noun refers to a group of individuals or things seen as one unit. Examples: group of people, team, committee, family. Group of animals, flock of birds, school of fish, herd of cows. Group of things, a bunch of keys, a pile of books. Examples: the team won the championship. Group of people, a flock of birds flew over the lake. Group of animals, she found a bunch of keys on the table. Group of things, the family went on a vacation together. Group of people, a herd of cows was grazing in the field. Group of animals, he donated a pile of books to the library. Group of things. 5. Possessive nouns. Explain how possessive nouns show ownership. They are formed by adding an apostrophe and s, or just an apostrophe for plural possessives. Examples: singular possession, the boy's hat, one boy owns the hat. Plural possession, the boy's hats, many boys own hats. Examples: singular, this is the dog's bone. Plural, the dog's toys are scattered on the floor. Singular, the woman's bag is on the table. Plural, the women's shoes are in the closet. Singular, James's car is parked outside. Plural, the students' books are on their desks. 6. Gerunds, verbs acting as nouns. Introduce gerunds, which are verbs functioning as nouns by adding ing. Examples: swimming is fun. Here, swimming is a noun, not a verb. Running helps me stay healthy. Examples: reading is my favorite hobby. Reading is used as a noun. Cooking takes patience. Cooking is a noun, not an action. Jogging every morning is good for health. He enjoys painting. Painting is the object of the verb. Enjoys. Dancing makes her happy. 7. noun modifiers, and noun phrases. Explain how nouns can also act as modifiers or appear in noun phrases. Noun modifiers, when one noun describes another. Example: chocolate cake, car door, soccer ball. Noun. Phrases, a group of words that act together as a noun. Example: the tall man in the red jacket is my teacher. Examples: noun modifier, I bought a chocolate cake for the party. Noun modifier, the car door was stuck. Noun modifier, we played with a soccer ball. Noun. Phrase, the old house on the corner is haunted. Noun phrase, the girl with the blue dress is my friend. Noun phrase, the big black dog ran across the street. 8. Plural forms of nouns. Explain the regular and irregular forms of plural nouns. Regular plurals. Most nouns become plural by adding s or as. Example: car, cars, box, boxes. Irregular plurals. Some nouns have unique plural forms. Example: man, men, child, children, foot, feet. Examples: regular plural, there are 5 cars in the parking lot. Regular plural, we need to pack the boxes. Irregular plural, the men are playing soccer. Irregular plural, the children are playing outside. Irregular plural, I bought new shoes for my feet. Conclusion and summary. Summarize everything covered in the video. Highlight the importance of understanding nouns for mastering sentence structure. Encourage viewers to practice what they've learned by writing their own sentences and identifying the nouns they've used. One. What is a pronoun? Start with a basic definition of pronouns. Definition. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun in a sentence. Pronouns help avoid unnecessary repetition. Examples. Instead of saying, John went to John's house because John forgot John's keys, we use pronouns. John went to his house because he forgot his keys. 2. Types of pronouns. Each type of pronoun should be explained in detail with plenty of examples. This will form the bulk of the video content. A. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns replace the names of people or things. Subject pronouns, used as the subject of a sentence. Examples: I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Examples: she is a doctor. They're going to the park. I love reading books. Object pronouns, used as the object of a verb or preposition. Examples: me, you, him, her, it, us, them. Examples: the teacher called him. Please give it to me. They invited us to the party. Subject versus object pronouns. Briefly explain the difference between subject and object pronouns. He, subject, helps him, object. They, subject, told us, object, a story. B. Possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns show ownership or possession. Examples: mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs. Examples: this book is mine. Is that car yours? The house is theirs. Difference between possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives. Possessive pronouns stand alone, while possessive adjectives describe a noun. This is my car versus this car is mine. Their house is big versus that house is theirs. Circa reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object of a sentence are the same person or thing. Examples: myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Examples: I made the cake myself. She looked at herself in the mirror. They are learning to trust themselves. Important usage. Tip: reflexive pronouns are not used randomly. They are only used when the subject and object are the same. Correct: I hurt myself. Incorrect: I hurt myself the ball. D. Demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns point to specific things or people. Examples: this, that, these, those. Examples: this is my phone. That was a great movie. These are my keys. Those are my friends. Usage. Tip: use this and these for things that are close. Use that and those for things that are farther away. This is delicious. Close by. That is amazing. Further away. E. Interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions. Examples: who, whom, whose, which, what. Examples: who is coming to the party? Whom did you invite? Whose bag is this? Which is your favorite book? What do you want for dinner? Who versus whom. Who is used as the subject of a sentence. Whom is used as the object of a sentence. Who is calling. Whom did you call? F. Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns connect clauses or phrases to a noun or pronoun. Examples: who, whom, whose, which, that. Examples: the man who called you is my friend. The book that I read was amazing. She's the one whose car was stolen. Clarification of usage. Use who or whom for people. Use which for things. Use that for both people and things, but that is often used for essential information. The car that broke down is mine. The cake which was on the table is missing. G. Indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns refer to nonspecific people or things. Examples: someone, anyone, everyone, no one, nobody, everybody, somebody, each, few, many, all, some, none. Examples: someone is knocking at the door. Does anyone have a pen? Everybody was at the party. Few people attended the meeting. All are welcome to join. None of the cookies are left. Plural or singular usage. Some indefinite pronouns can be singular or plural, depending on the context. Everyone is happy. Singular. Many are coming. Plural. H. Reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns show mutual actions or relationships. Examples: each other, one another. Examples: they love each other. The students helped one another. We exchanged gifts with each other. They smiled at one another. 3. Pronouns in complex sentences. After covering the types of pronouns, explain how they function in more complex sentence structures. A. Pronouns in dependent clauses. Example: the woman who is wearing the red dress is my aunt. I know the man whom you met yesterday. This is the book that I wanted to read. Explanation: show how pronouns like who, whom, whose, which, and that introduce dependent clauses that describe or give more information about a noun. B. Pronouns in conditional sentences. Example: if you do it yourself, you will learn better. I will help them if they ask me. If we trust one another, we will succeed. Explanation: demonstrate how pronouns work in conditional sentences, maintaining clear relationships between subjects and objects across clauses. 4. Common pronoun mistakes and how to avoid them. End the lesson with a section on typical errors learners make with pronouns and how to fix them. A. Pronoun agreement. Explain how pronouns must agree with their antecedents in both number and gender. Example: incorrect. Everyone should bring their own lunch. Correct. Everyone should bring his or her own lunch. Tip: use singular pronouns with singular antecedents and plural pronouns with plural antecedents. B. Ambiguous pronoun reference. Explain that pronouns should clearly refer to one noun. Example: ambiguous. When Tom talked to Bob, he seemed angry. Who is angry, Tom or Bob? Clear. When Tom talked to Bob, Tom seemed angry. Conclusion and summary. Summarize the different types of pronouns and remind viewers of the importance of pronouns in achieving fluency in English. Encourage viewers to practice identifying pronouns in their daily conversations and written work. 1. What is an adjective? Start with a clear definition of adjectives and their basic role in English. Definition: an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. It tells us more about the noun, giving us details such as size, shape, color, quantity, and more. Examples: the tall man walked quickly. Here, tall describes the noun man. She has a beautiful dress. Beautiful describes the noun dress. They live in a large house. Large describes the noun house. Chapter 2. Types of adjectives. Explain the various types of adjectives and provide examples for each. This section will make up a substantial portion of the video. A. Descriptive adjectives. Descriptive adjectives describe the qualities or states of nouns and pronouns. They give us details about characteristics. Examples: beautiful, red, large, old, shiny examples in sentences. The red car is parked outside. She wore a shiny necklace. They live in a large house. B. Quantitative adjectives. Quantitative adjectives describe the quantity of something, how much or how many. Examples: some, many, few, several, two, three, much, little. Examples in sentences: she has 3 dogs. There are many apples on the tree. I need some sugar for the recipe. Circa demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives point out specific things. They include words like this, that, these, and those. Examples: this, that, these, those. Examples in sentences: this book is interesting. That car is fast. These shoes are new. Those people are friendly. Tip: demonstrative adjectives must be followed by a noun, as in this book or those apples. D. Possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives show ownership or possession. They include words like my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Examples: my, your, his, her, its, our, their. Examples in sentences: this is my bag. Their house is near the park. Her car is new. Tip: don't confuse possessive adjectives with possessive pronouns. Possessive adjectives are used with nouns, as in her book, but possessive pronouns stand alone, as in the book is hers. E. Interrogative adjectives. Interrogative adjectives are used in questions and are placed before nouns. The most common ones are which and what. Examples: which, what, whose. Examples in sentences: which movie do you want to watch? What color do you prefer? Whose jacket is this? FF. Indefinite adjectives. Indefinite adjectives describe a noun in a nonspecific way. Words like some, any, few, and many are often used. Examples: some, any, few, many, several. Examples in sentences. There are several ways to solve this problem. Do you have any questions? Few people attended the meeting. Grammar. Comparative and superlative adjectives. Comparative adjectives compare 2 things, while superlative adjectives compare more than 2 things. Comparative examples: bigger, smaller, more interesting. Examples in sentences: her house is bigger than mine. This book is more interesting than the last one. Superlative examples: biggest, smallest, most interesting. Examples in sentences: this is the biggest house on the block. It was the most interesting story I've ever read. Tip: for 1-syllable adjectives, add or ear for the comparative and est for the superlative: tall, taller, tallest. For adjectives with 2 or more syllables, use more for the comparative and most for the superlative: beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Third position of adjectives. Adjectives usually come before the noun they describe, but can also appear after the verb. Before the noun. Example: the blue sky looked beautiful. Examples: she has a large garden. They bought an expensive car. After the verb. Example: the sky is blue. Examples: The soup smells delicious. The room feels warm. Tip: when adjectives appear after a linking verb, be, seem, look, feel, etc., they describe the subject of the sentence. Fourth order of adjectives. When you use more than one adjective before a noun, they typically follow a specific order. This section will break down the adjective order in detail. Order of adjectives: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, noun. Example: she wore a beautiful opinion, long, size, old, age, red, color, silk, material dress. Other examples: I bought a small wooden table. They adopted a cute little puppy. Fifth adjective versus adverb. Adjectives describe nouns or pronouns, while adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Examples: adjective: she is a quick runner. Quick describes the noun runner. This is an easy question. Easy describes the noun question. Adverb: she runs quickly. Quickly describes the verb runs. He answered the question easily. Easily describes the verb answered. Some other common mistakes with adjectives address. Common mistakes learners make when using adjectives. A. Using comparative and superlative incorrectly. Many learners mistakenly use the wrong form of adjectives when comparing. Incorrect: he is more taller than me. Correct: he is taller than me. Tip: never use more with a comparative adjective that already ends in er. Similarly, never use most with a superlative that already ends in est. B. Confusing adjectives and adverbs. Sometimes learners use an adjective instead of an adverb, and vice versa. Incorrect: she sings beautiful. Correct: she sings beautifully. Tip: use adjectives to describe nouns and adverbs to describe actions. 7. Adjective clauses introduce adjective clauses as a more advanced way of describing nouns. Definition: an adjective clause is a group of words that describe a noun, beginning with words like who, which, or that. Examples: the book that I borrowed is fascinating. That I borrowed is an adjective clause describing book. She's the person who helped me. Who helped me is an adjective clause describing person. 8. Intensifiers with adjectives. Intensifiers like very, quite, extremely, and to are used to give more emphasis to adjectives. Examples: it's very hot today. She's quite tired. This movie is extremely boring. The test was too difficult. Tip: be careful when using intensifiers. For example, to often has a negative connotation, implying that something is excessive. Conclusion and summary. Summarize the key points covered in the video, reinforcing the various types of adjectives and their use. 1. What is a verb? Start with a clear definition of verbs and their basic role in English sentences. Definition: A verb is a word that describes an action, a state, or an occurrence. It tells what someone or something does or what happens. Examples: action. She runs every morning. The verb runs shows an action. State. He is happy. The verb is shows a state of being. Occurrence. The meeting starts at 10. The verb starts shows when something happens. Chapter 2. Types of verbs. Introduce the different types of verbs and provide examples for each. This section will take up a large portion of the video as it goes deep into each type. A. Action verbs. Dynamic verbs. Action verbs describe physical or mental actions. Examples: run, jump, write, think, study, believe. Examples and sentences: she runs every day. They are studying for the exam. I believe in you. Transitive and intransitive verbs. Action verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Transitive verbs require a direct object to complete their meaning. Example: she wrote a letter. Letter is the direct object of wrote. Example: sentences: he threw the ball. Ball is the direct object. She loves chocolate. Chocolate is the object. Intransitive verbs do not require a direct object. Example: he runs every morning. Runs does not need an object. Example sentences: the baby cried. The sun rises in the east. B. Linking verbs. Linking verbs do not express action. Instead, they connect the subject of the sentence to more information. Common linking verbs: be, seem, become, appear, feel. Examples: she is a doctor. They seem tired. He became a teacher. The soup smells delicious. Tip: a linking verb is often followed by a noun, adjective, or phrase that describes the subject. Circa helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs. Helping verbs are used alongside main verbs to create verb tenses, questions, and negatives. Common helping verbs: is, are, was, were, do, does, did, has, have, had, will, shall, can, could, would. Examples: she is running. Is helps express the present continuous tense. He has finished his homework. Has helps form the present perfect tense. Did you see that? Did helps form a question. Helping verbs with negative sentences and questions. Negative: she does not like pizza. Question: have you completed the task? D. Modal verbs. Modal verbs express necessity, possibility, permission, or ability. Common modal verbs: can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would. Examples: she can swim. Ability: you must finish your homework. Necessity. May I go to the party? Permission: he might come tomorrow. Possibility. Tip: modal verbs are always followed by the base form of the main verb. Incorrect: she can to swim. Correct: she can swim. 3. Verb. Tenses introduce. Verb tenses as a way of expressing the time when an action happens. This will be a key segment as it covers the three main tenses: past, present, and future, along with their aspects. A. Present tense. The present tense expresses actions happening now or facts that are always true. Simple present. Example: I eat lunch at noon. Examples: she walks to school every day. They play football on Sundays. Present. Continuous. Expresses an ongoing action in the present. Example: I am reading a book. Examples: she is studying for her exams. They are playing in the park. Present perfect expresses an action that happened at an unspecified time or started in the past and continues in the present. Example: I have visited Paris. Examples: she has lived here for 5 years. They have finished their homework. Present perfect continuous expresses an action that started in the past and is still happening. Example: I have been working here for 2 years. Examples: she has been reading that book for a week. They have been playing for an hour. B. Past tense. The past tense expresses actions that have already happened. Simple past. Example: I walked to the store yesterday. Examples: she played tennis last week. They watched a movie last night. Past continuous expresses an ongoing action in the past. Example: I was reading when the phone rang. Examples: she was cooking dinner at 6 p.m. They were playing football when it started to rain. Past perfect expresses an action that was completed before another action in the past. Example: I had finished my homework before dinner. Examples: she had already left when I arrived. They had seen that movie before. Past perfect continuous expresses an action that started in the past and continued until another action in the past. Example: I had been working for 2 hours when she arrived. Examples: she had been studying all night before the test. They had been playing for an hour before it rained. Circa future tense. The future tense expresses actions that will happen. Simple future. Example: I will go to the store tomorrow. Examples: she will travel to New York next week. They will play football on Sunday. Future continuous expresses an ongoing action that will happen in the future. Example: I will be reading at 8 p.m. tonight. Examples: she will be working when you arrive. They will be playing football at 4 p.m. Future perfect expresses an action that will be completed before another action in the future. Example: I will have finished the book by tomorrow. Examples: she will have completed the project by Friday. They will have played the game by the time you arrive. Future perfect continuous expresses an action that will continue until a specific time in the future. Example: by next year, I will have been working here for 5 years. Examples: she will have been studying for hours by the time we arrive. They will have been playing for 2 hours by 6 p.m. These are called irregular verbs. Examples: go, went, take, took eat, ate, run, ran speak, spoke. Tip: learning irregular verbs requires memorization since there is no set pattern. 5. Phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are combinations of a verb and a preposition or adverb that together create a new meaning. Examples: look after, to take care of. She looks after her younger brother. Give up, to quit. He gave up smoking. Turn off, to switch off. Please turn off the lights. Explanation: phrasal verbs can be confusing because their meaning often changes from the individual meanings of the words. 6. Common verb mistakes. Common verb mistakes and how to avoid them. Address some typical mistakes learners make with verbs. A. Subject-verb agreement. Explain that the verb must agree with the subject in number, singular or plural. Example: incorrect, he go to school. Correct, he goes to school. And B. Tense shifts. Explain that switching tenses in the middle of a sentence or paragraph can confuse the meaning. Example: incorrect, I went to the store and buy groceries. Correct, I went to the store and bought groceries. Conclusion and summary. Summarize the types of verbs, their tenses, and the importance of using them correctly. Encourage viewers to practice using verbs in different tenses to improve their fluency. One. What is an adverb? Start with a basic definition of adverbs and their purpose. Definition: an adverb is a word that modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. It tells us how something is done, when it is done, where it happens, or to what extent something occurs. Examples: she sings beautifully. Beautifully modifies the verb. Sings. It was a very hot day. Very modifies the adjective hot. He ran incredibly quickly. Incredibly modifies the adverb quickly. Types of adverbs. Explain the different types of adverbs and provide examples of each. A. Adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner describe how an action is performed. These adverbs usually answer the question, how? Examples: quickly, slowly, happily, carefully, well. Examples in sentences: she danced gracefully. He speaks slowly. The cat moved quietly across the room. Tip: most adverbs of manner are formed by adding "ly" to adjectives, e.g., slow, slowly. But there are exceptions, such as well, from good. B. Adverbs of time. Adverbs of time tell us when something happens or for how long. Examples: now, later, yesterday, tomorrow, always, often, seldom, never. Examples in sentences: we'll meet tomorrow. She is always on time. They seldom go to the beach. Tip: some adverbs of time can go at the beginning or end of a sentence while others are placed before the main verb. Adverbs of place. Adverbs of place tell us where an action happens. These adverbs usually answer the question, where? Examples: here, there, everywhere, outside, inside, nearby, abroad. Examples in sentences: she looked everywhere for her keys. We'll meet outside the cafe. They live nearby. D. Adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency describe how often something happens. These adverbs answer the question, how often? Examples: always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Examples in sentences: I always wake up early. She rarely drinks coffee. They often go hiking on weekends. Tip: frequency adverbs are typically placed before the main verb, but after the verb to be. For example, he always smiles, but she is always kind. On E, adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree tell us the intensity or extent of an action or adjective. These adverbs answer the question, to what extent? Examples: very, quite, almost, to, enough. So, examples in sentences. I'm very tired. She's almost finished with her project. They are too young to travel alone. Tip: adverbs of degree are commonly used before adjectives or other adverbs, but can also modify verbs. e.g., he studied enough. 3. Formation of adverbs. Explain how most adverbs are formed from adjectives by adding ly and discuss exceptions. Regular formation. Many adverbs are formed by adding li to adjectives. Examples: slow, slowly, happy, happily, careful, carefully. Irregular adverbs. Some adverbs do not follow this pattern. Examples: good, well, hard, hard, fast, fast, late, late. Examples in sentences: she speaks well, not good. He ran fast. Fast as both an adjective and adverb. They arrived late. Fourth position of adverbs. Explain the different positions adverbs can take in sentences. A. Adverbs of manner, time, and place. These adverbs can go at different positions in a sentence depending on emphasis. Beginning of sentence: quickly, he ran to catch the bus. Tomorrow, we will visit the museum. End of sentence: he ran quickly to catch the bus. We will visit the museum tomorrow. Tip: the most common position for adverbs of manner is after the verb, but they can also come at the beginning for emphasis. B. Adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency usually go before the main verb, but after the verb to be. Before the main verb: she always eats breakfast. We often go to the cinema. After the verb to be: they are always happy. He is never late. Adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree are placed before the adjective or adverb they modify, or after the verb they modify. Before an adjective, chair adverb. It's very cold outside. She sings quite well. After the verb: He doesn't study enough. They work too hard. 5. Comparative and superlative forms of adverbs. Just like adjectives, some adverbs can be used to make comparisons. Explain how to form comparatives and superlatives with adverbs. Comparative adverbs. Use more or less before the adverb to compare two actions. Examples. She speaks more softly than him. He works less efficiently than his colleague. Superlative adverbs. Use most or least to compare more than two actions. Examples. She sings the most beautifully in the class. He works the least carefully of all. Irregular forms. Some adverbs have irregular comparative and superlative forms. Examples. Well, better, best, badly, worse, worst, much, more, most. 6. Common mistakes with adverbs. A. Confusing adjectives with adverbs. Learners often use adjectives when they should use adverbs and vice versa. Incorrect. She sings beautiful. Correct. She sings beautifully. Incorrect. He ran quick. Correct. He ran quickly. Tip. Remember that adjectives describe nouns, while adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. B. Double negatives. Double negatives can create confusion, and adverbs of negation, like never, not, barely, are commonly misused in double negative constructions. Incorrect. I don't need no help. Correct. I don't need any help. Incorrect. He can't hardly see. Correct. He can hardly see. Circa overusing adverbs. Sometimes learners overuse adverbs, especially very or really. Encourage students to use adverbs thoughtfully. Overused. She is very, very tired. Better, she is exhausted. 7. Adverb clauses introduce adverb clauses as a more advanced topic. Definition. An adverb clause is a group of words that function as an adverb, providing information about when, where, why, or how something happens. Examples. He ran because he was late. Because he was late is an adverb clause explaining why he ran. She sings better than I do. Than I do is an adverb clause explaining how she sings. We'll go out when the rain stops. When the rain stops is an adverb clause explaining when we'll go out. 8. Intensifiers and downtoners. Explain how adverbs can be used to strengthen or weaken the meaning of adjectives, adverbs, or verbs. Intensifiers. Words like very, extremely, so, and to make the meaning stronger. Examples. It's extremely cold outside. She's too tired to continue. Downtoners. Words like quite, rather, somewhat, and fairly make the meaning weaker. Examples. The movie was quite interesting. He's rather busy at the moment. The conclusion and summary. We've covered a lot about adverbs today, from their basic definition to the different types, how to use them in sentences, and common mistakes. Adverbs are powerful tools for adding detail and clarity to your sentences. Be sure to practice using them in your everyday conversations and writing. Section 1. What is a preposition? A preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and other elements in a sentence. They help answer questions like where, when, how, and why. Let's break this down with some examples. Examples. The book is on the table. On shows the position of the book in relation to the table. We will meet after lunch. After tells us when the meeting will happen in relation to lunch. Let's go over the most common types. Subsection. Prepositions of place. Prepositions of place describe where something is located or where an action takes place. These prepositions answer the question, where? Examples. The keys are under the mat. She lives near the park. The dog is in the garden. Common prepositions of place include in, on, under, over, next to, between, behind, and in front of. Subsection. Prepositions of time. Prepositions of time explain when something happens. These prepositions answer the question when. Examples. I'll call you at 7 p.m. At is used for specific times. We have class on Monday. On is used for days of the week. They go on vacation in December. In is used for months, years, and periods of time. Common prepositions of time include at, on, in, before, after, during. Subsection. Prepositions of direction to back movement. Prepositions of direction or movement show movement from one place to another and answer the question where to, or in which direction. Examples. She walked to the store. The ball rolled down the hill. He jumped over the fence. Common prepositions of direction include to, towards, into, out of, over, under. Subsection. Prepositions of manner. Prepositions of manner explain how something is done or the means by which something happens. These prepositions answer the question how. Examples. She solved the puzzle with ease. They traveled by car. He won the race through determination. Common prepositions of manner include with, by, through, without. Section 3. Prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase is a group of words that starts with a preposition and ends with a noun or pronoun. These phrases add more information to a sentence, often answering the questions where, when, how, or why. Examples. The cat is sleeping under the bed. Under the bed is the prepositional phrase modifying the verb sleeping. She arrived on time. On time modifies the verb arrived. Prepositional phrases can act as adjectives or adverbs, depending on how they are used in the sentence. Section 4. Commonly confused prepositions. Many learners struggle with choosing the correct preposition in certain contexts. Let's look at some commonly confused prepositions and how to use them properly. Subsection. In versus on versus at. In, used for larger areas, cities, countries, months, years. Example, I live in India. On, used for surfaces, days, and dates. Example, we have a meeting on Monday. At, used for specific points or locations. Example, I'll meet you at the cafe. Subsection, by, here is with. By, used to show how something happens or the means of doing something. Example, he traveled by train. With, used to show the tool or method used or accompanying someone. Example, he cut the paper with scissors. Section 5. Prepositions in idiomatic expressions. Some prepositions are part of fixed phrases or idiomatic expressions that don't follow the usual rules. Let's go over a few common ones. On time. She arrived on time. In charge of. He is in charge of the project. By mistake. I sent the email by mistake. In the end. In the end, it all worked out. It's important to memorize these expressions because their meanings often can't be guessed from the individual words. Section 6. Prepositions and verbs. Phrasal verbs. Some verbs are often followed by prepositions, forming what we call phrasal verbs. These combinations often have meanings that are quite different from the verb alone. Examples. Look up. She looked up the information. To search for. Get over. He got over his fear of heights. To recover from. Put off. They decided to put off the meeting. To postpone. Section 7. Prepositions with adjectives. Some adjectives are also followed by specific prepositions. Let's look at a few common combinations. Afraid of. He is afraid of spiders. Good at. She's good at drawing. Interested in. They are interested in learning more. Section 8. Prepositions with nouns. Just like adjectives and verbs, some nouns also take prepositions. Reason for. What's the reason for your absence? Need for. There's a need for more volunteers. Advantage of. What's the advantage of this plan? Section 9. Common mistakes with prepositions. Let's wrap up by addressing some common mistakes learners make when using prepositions. Omitting the preposition. Incorrect. She is married him. Correct. She is married to him. Using the wrong preposition. Incorrect. I am good in math. Correct. I am good at math. Unnecessary preposition. Incorrect. Where are you going to? Correct. Where are you going? Conclusion. In today's lesson, we've covered a wide range of prepositions, from prepositions of place, time, and direction, to how prepositions work with nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Remember, prepositions are all about relationships between words. The more you practice, the more natural they'll become. Section 1. What is a conjunction? A conjunction is a word used to link words phrases, or clauses in a sentence. They allow us to avoid short, choppy sentences and instead express more complex ideas. There are three main types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. Section 2. Coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are used to join words, phrases, or independent clauses that are of equal importance in a sentence. The most common coordinating conjunctions can be remembered using the acronym FANBOYS, for and nor, but, or, yet, so. Examples: I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining, but joins two independent clauses. She likes apples and oranges, and joins two words. Explanation of each fanboy's conjunction. For shows reason or purpose. Example: she stayed at home, for she wasn't feeling well. And adds information. Example: we bought bread and butter. Nor adds negative information. Example: she didn't call, nor did she text. But shows contrast or an opposing idea. Example: I love coffee, but I can't drink it at night. Or presents an alternative or choice. Example: you can have tea or coffee. Yet introduces a contrasting idea, similar to but. Example: he's a strict teacher, yet he's very kind. So, shows the result or consequence of something. Example: it was raining, so we stayed inside. Section 3. Subordinating conjunctions. Subordinating conjunctions introduce dependent clauses, linking them to independent clauses. They show relationships like cause and effect, time, contrast, and condition. Examples: I'll go out if it stops raining. If introduces a condition. She didn't come because she was sick, because introduces a reason. We started eating when he arrived. When introduces a time relationship. Common subordinating conjunctions. Because shows reason. Example: I stayed home because I was tired. Although, though, shows contrast or unexpected result. Example: although it was raining, they still played outside. If unless introduces a condition. Example: we'll leave if it gets too late. While as indicates simultaneous actions or contrast. Example: she listened to music while working. Since can show time or reason. Example: we haven't seen him since last week. Time. Example: since it's late, we should leave. Reason. Section 4. Correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions work in pairs to join equal elements in a sentence. These pairs show the relationship between ideas or emphasize choices or contrasts. Common correlative conjunctions: both and example. She is both smart and hardworking. Either or example. You can either come with me or stay here. Neither nor example. He is neither happy nor satisfied with the results. Not only, but also. Example: she's not only a great singer, but also a talented dancer. Whether or example, I don't know whether to stay or leave. Section 5. Conjunctions and sentence structure. Conjunctions help form different types of sentences. Let's look at how conjunctions function in simple, compound, complex, and compound-complex sentences. Subsection: Simple sentences. A simple sentence has just one independent clause. Example: She loves to read. Subsection: Compound sentences. Compound sentences contain two or more independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. Example: I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining. Subsection: Complex sentences. Complex sentences contain one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses, often introduced by a subordinating conjunction. Example: She stayed home because it was raining. Subsection: Compound complex sentences. Compound complex sentences combine elements of compound and complex sentences. They contain at least two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Example: I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining, so I stayed inside until the rain stopped. Section 6. Common mistakes with conjunctions. Let's go over some common mistakes learners make with conjunctions and how to avoid them. Subsection: Overusing conjunctions. It's easy to overuse conjunctions, especially when trying to link too many ideas in one sentence. This can make sentences confusing. Example: Incorrect. I went to the store and I bought apples, and then I went home, and then I cooked dinner. Correct. I went to the store, bought apples, and then went home to cook dinner. Subsection: Misusing correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions need to be used in pairs, and both parts of the pair must be present. Example: Incorrect. Either you come with me or stay here. Correct. Either you come with me or you stay here. Subsection: Mixing up, subordinating, and coordinating conjunctions. Sometimes, learners mix up subordinating and coordinating conjunctions, leading to sentence fragments. Example: Incorrect. Because it was raining. Correct. I stayed home because it was raining. Section 7. Conjunctions in everyday speech and writing. Conjunctions are essential for everyday communication. Whether you're writing an email, having a conversation, or giving a presentation, using conjunctions correctly makes your language flow better and sound more natural. Section 8. Practice with conjunctions. Let's take a few moments to practice using conjunctions in different sentences. Fill in the blanks. I like tea. Yana get coffee. Answer: And she's tired. She didn't sleep well. Answer: Because we'll leave. It stops raining. Answer: If. Conclusion. In today's video, we've explored conjunctions in depth, from coordinating and subordinating conjunctions to correlative conjunctions. We also discussed how conjunctions help form different sentence structures and common mistakes to watch out for. Conjunctions are the glue that holds your sentences together, making your writing and speaking clear and cohesive. Thanks. Section 1. What is an interjection? An interjection is a word or phrase that expresses emotion and is often followed by an exclamation mark. Unlike other parts of speech, interjections don't modify other words or relate grammatically to the rest of the sentence. They're used to express spontaneous feelings or reactions. Examples: Wow, that's an amazing view. Oh no, I forgot my keys. Yay, we won the game. Section 2. Common interjections and their uses. Let's go over some common interjections and the emotions they convey. Subsection: Interjections of surprise. These interjections express shock or astonishment. Examples: Wow. Oh, what? Example in context: Wow, I didn't expect to see you here. Oh, you scared me. Subsection: Interjections of joy or excitement. These interjections are used when you're happy, excited, or enthusiastic. Examples: Yay, hooray, woohoo. Example in context: Yay, we're going on vacation. Hooray, the project is finally done. Subsection: Interjections of anger or frustration. When we feel irritated, annoyed, or angry, interjections help us release those emotions. Examples: Ugh. Grrr. Darn. Example in context: Ugh. I can't believe I made that mistake. Grrr. This computer is so slow. Subsection: Interjections of pain or discomfort. These interjections are used when someone is hurt or in discomfort. Examples: Ouch. Ow. Ah. Example in context: Ouch. That really hurt. Ow, I stubbed my toe. Subsection: Interjections of disapproval or disgust. These interjections express disapproval, disgust, or dislike. Examples: Yuck. Ow. Boo. Example in context: Yuck. This food tastes terrible. Oh, there's a bug in the soup. Section 3. Categories of interjections based on emotion. Interjections can be grouped by the emotions they express. Let's take a look at different categories. Subsection: Interjections of greeting. Sometimes interjections are used simply to greet someone or to get their attention. Examples: Hey, hello, hi. Example in context: Hey, how have you been? Hi, nice to meet you. Subsection: Interjections of hesitation. These interjections are used when we're unsure or need to pause while thinking. Examples: Example in context: I'm not sure how to answer that. Let me think about it. Section 4. Position of interjections in sentences. Interjections can appear at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence, depending on what you want to emphasize. Subsection: beginning of a sentence. Interjections are most commonly placed at the beginning of a sentence to grab attention or express emotion right away. Example: "Oh no, I missed the bus. Yay, we won." Subsection: middle of a sentence. Sometimes interjections are used in the middle of a sentence to indicate a spontaneous reaction during speech. Example: "I was walking down the street and suddenly, wow, I saw a celebrity. I don't know, if I can help you with that." Subsection: end of a sentence. Placing an interjection at the end of a sentence can add emphasis to the emotion. Example: "I can't believe we're moving tomorrow, yay. We're finally finished. Phew." Section 5. Formal versus informal usage of interjections. While interjections are common in casual conversation, they are less frequently used in formal writing or speech. In formal contexts, we often avoid them to maintain a more professional tone. Example: formal: "I was pleased to hear about the promotion." Example: informal: "Wow, I'm so happy you got promoted." Section 6. Punctuation with interjections. Interjections are often followed by punctuation that reflects the intensity of the emotion being expressed. Subsection: exclamation mark. When an interjection expresses strong emotion or excitement, it's usually followed by an exclamation mark. Example: "Yay, we're going on vacation. Ouch, that hurt." Section 7. Interjections in writing and dialogue. Interjections are frequently used in dialogue to make conversations sound more natural and expressive. Example of dialogue: "Hey, what are you doing here?" "Oh, nothing much. Just taking a walk." In writing, interjections add flavor and personality to characters' speech. Section 8. Common mistakes with interjections. Let's go over some common mistakes learners make when using interjections. Subsection: overusing interjections. It's easy to overuse interjections, especially when we want to express excitement. However, using too many interjections in a single sentence or paragraph can make writing seem overly emotional or unprofessional. Example: incorrect. Wow, yay, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Correct. Wow, that's amazing. Subsection: using interjections in formal writing. While interjections are great for casual conversation and creative writing, they don't belong in formal essays or reports. Instead, use full sentences to express emotions in formal writing. Example: informal: "Yikes, that's a tough problem." Example: formal: "That problem seems particularly challenging." Conclusion. In this video, we've explored the fascinating world of interjections, from expressing emotions like joy, surprise, and frustration, to learning how to use them effectively in speech and writing. Whether you're using them to emphasize a point or show emotion, interjections can add a lot of personality to your language. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Step Up Learn English for more language tips and grammar lessons. See you next time.